Tonight for the game of the rounds with the Ken Frost Homes Cairns Dolphins up against the USC Rip City. Joining me tonight in commentary is Alex Lousy Loughton, back from his trip in China with the NBL All-Star Australian team. Welcome back, Louse.
G'day, Gav. How you doing? Great to be back here courtside for another exciting round in the QBL.
Big game tonight for the Dolphins. Bye last week for them, but the week before that, double road loss. Heavy loss to Townsville, 31 points, but then came back against Mackay, only lose by 12. Imports had different games. Perkins 3 points against Townsville, but 15 against Mackay. But Bryant was the reverse, 22 points against Townsville and only 3 points against Mackay.
Yeah, look, I mean, Kerry Williams spoke about the turnover count in Townsville. There was something like high 20s, even 30s in the turnover count. You just can't have those kinds of lapses. Just basic fundamental basketball skill. Can't have those breakdowns, and you've got to capitalise the offensive end for sure. But he's really looking for a turnaround tonight.
And the USC Rip City coming in, they were a close loss to the Gold Coast Rollers at their last game. A close win. They got across the line by just 4 points. But Leah Scott, she's certainly been averaging 22 points, and she had 21 last week at 57% just to keep the team in the hunt for the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. She's their go-to player. I won't be surprised if the Dolphins start LJ Williams tonight, maybe just to provide a bit of physicality so she doesn't get going early. But this is a team that's sitting around sixth, on the ladder, and they can really push just to cement their place in the top 8. So Coach Jay McCracken, it's his first year with the team, but he's really excited. We're about to stand up here for the national anthem.
So, Louse, there's a fair bit of height in this USC Rip City team. Even their second string sort of team has got a fair bit of height there. Carly Smith averaging 14 points so far this season, 18 points in the game last week in that win, but also 12 rebounds. She's obviously a rebounding machine.
They're definitely a big team, and Coach Jay McCracken for USC Rip, he doesn't mind the physicality. His girls don't mind the physicality. Sometimes the refs will let him play, and other times they get pulled up on it. But for the most part, he loves a physical game. So they definitely got the height. They'll be really looking to take it to the Dolphins tonight. And like I said, try and cement their place. This is a tough doubleheader for them this weekend. And they'll be trying to cement their place with only about 4 or 5 rounds to go.
As you said, their go-to possession player is Scott. As I said, averaging 22 points. Also great from the free throw line, excellent from the three-point range. She seems to be able to do it all.
They've really got the one long-range shooter, Langhorn. She's the really one that they've got to be focused on, the Dolphins, just to try and minimise her touches. But apart from that, the shooting threats are few and far between. But like you said, they're a big side. They're going to look for finishes around the rim. They're going to look for those easy buckets in trans. Dolphins just got to be real selective about who they close out hard. Now on the flip side, can the USC Rips City contain some of our bigs, some of the bigs for the Dolphins as well? Rachel Pryor able to do some damage in there, as we know, from that mid-post range. LJ Williams, can she move some players around in the keyway and get some easy buckets? She's been finishing well. Coach Kerry Williams was very impressed with some of her performances in recent weeks. So it looks like she's on the bench right now, so she's going to get a starting spot tonight, Gav. And it is a reward for her effort, and also as a bit of a strategy to try and lock down Scott early.
Yeah, Rachel Pryor she didn't travel to Townsville or Mackay in that last round. Obviously a big hole for them to fill in. And LJ stepped up in that second game, top scored for the Dolphins with 20 points. So yeah, it's great reward for her to be getting a start tonight. And Dia Bryant and also Perkins struggled last week, but put up a lot of shots between the two of them.
But USC Rip City, they know that they got to contain Perkins and Bryant. They can get going early. Coach McCracken was saying that they're the focus for this team. They've got to try and shut down the touches for Perkins and Dia Bryant. If they can limit those touches, make them shoot some tough shots, then the USC Rip City are going to be in a good position at the end of each quarter.
So definitely a different starting lineup tonight for the Dolphins. Jade Kennedy makes the way onto the court as well. LJ Williams, Donkin, and then the two imports, Bryant and Perkins. So Kerry certainly looking at mixing it up, trying something new.
And you've got three capable ball handlers in Perkins, Bryant, and the Dolphins are going to be looking to maybe push ahead here, and the bigs in the middle are going to be looking to get some nice finishes around the rim.
As Smith puts up an early three, but again a rebound and an early foul. Kennedy's going to be called for a foul under the basket there on that offensive rebound.
It's a bit unlucky there from Kennedy just to get pinged so early within 9 seconds of the contest, Gav. This is not what Coach Williams will be wanting at this stage of the game.
So that sends Abbott to the line.
77% free throw shooter, Gav. She won't miss too many of these. If I can jinx her out of it. No, not tonight.
Commentator's curse hasn't worked there, Louds.
Nah, great work. Get the 2 early points. They're away.
So the Dolphins certainly sharing around. They look for Williams in the inside there, but unfortunately one of those turnovers. And pass eludes Abbott, and the Dolphins come back the other way.
Bryant, little left to right crossover. Nice little pull up from the elbow. Not bad to get a quick touch in the game. It's a good read. Shaw back out to Scott. They're looking back on the 45 now. They go inside to Abbott. Man-to-man defense by the Dolphins. Find a wide open shooter though. Langhorne, that's the one target the Dolphins have got to cover. Not good early signs for the Dolphins if they got to guard Langhorne from the 3 there.
So it's a 5-point lead to the Rip City. Minute gone in this first quarter. As Jade Kennedy puts up her first three-point shot.
Another shooter that can light it up for the Dolphins this time. Kennedy, great 3 from the top of the key.
As Scott just finds a way to the basket too easily there.
That was an unbelievable headsy by Scott. Nice little left hand. Pause for a sec and then continued on for the nice finish. And the backdoor cut by Bryant. This is a great play right here, Gav. Jay Kennedy pass fake on the wing. Sending Dia Bryant to the hoop for an easy layup.
So it's a Dolphins ball from the baseline. 8 minutes and 10 to go in this first quarter, and the USC's has a 2-point lead, 7 points to 5 over the Dolphins.
LJ Williams takes a quick rest. Just taking that initial blow out of Scott. She's got the 2, so she's done her job now. Now Rachel Pryor can step into the game with a full head of steam.
They find Perkins in the corner. She misses that one. Great rebound by Kennedy. They find Kennedy again, and she shoots another 3, so that's 2 threes for Kennedy tonight.
It's a nice ball movement by the Dolphins. They're not taking rushed passes, Gav. They're just taking their time, finding the open player. Jay Kennedy likes her chances from getting back-to-back threes. Great job.
So the Dolphins hit the lead now, 8-7. 7:26 to go in this first quarter. As the USC have the ball from the baseline.
The probing pass from the post there, Gav. Not a bad look. Rip City will come up with it again from the base.
So Abbott puts up that one for USC. Brought down by the Dolphins. And Kennedy now bringing the ball up.
Rachel Pryor turning the corner on that left hand that she loves a lot. Dear Bryant to pull it in for the Dolphins. They've got numbers now, Gav. She pulls up from the free throw line.
So it's a pretty fast-paced game here tonight so far, Lau. So they're certainly getting up and down the court, the girls. Great pressure D from Donkin on Langhorne, the three-point shooter you're talking about.
Absolutely, but the looks inside for USC Rip City, they really find each other in those little angles in the keyway, and they've tried a few passes. Some of them have been deflected, but for the most part, they're always looking, always probing for that easy bucket inside. Shaw, too tall, too big, strong. She gets her own board. Rachel Pryor to pull it in. Dolphins will have to pull it out without the numbers. Perkins back to Myra at the top now. She likes her chances from 3. Knocks it down from the top of the key. Gives the Dolphins the lead. Some great basketball so far, Gavin, this first 5 minutes. It's been fast-paced, and the skill set has been unbelievable. Some great passing, some great shots as well. Dolphins ahead by 2. And USC Rip City will just take a timeout just to talk things over.
And the shooting allows, it's three-point land for the Dolphins tonight. And the ones that haven't been shooting in the last few weeks, Kennedy, Donkin, have put their shots up and they're dropping for them. It's great to see.
I'll tell you what, sometimes you live and die by the three-point line, but those moments where you're living by the three-point line, you got to love that. Back-to-back threes for Kennedy. Myra likes the chances from the top of the key, but they've moved the ball well, Gav. They've found the right reads. Haven't rushed it, like I said. They've found the open shooters, and they've knocked down shots. That's the kind of rhythm that Coach Williams will be enjoying right now. And he's going to say, look, these next 5 minutes, we've got to keep that heat on, keep that ball flying through hands.
So no changes to the lineup for Rip City. But the Dolphins have brought Hutchinson on. Give Perkins a rest. As Scott up the court, out to Abbott. And Hutchinson pulls down that rebound.
Great box out from Elle Hutchinson. She gave up a few inches in height on her opponent, but she managed to rope that board in. Send her team off on the fast break.
As Bryant puts up a long 2 with 5 seconds left on the shot clock and connects with that one. It's 13 points to 9. The Dolphins in front with 5:20 to go in this first quarter.
And Dear Bryant, she opens up her account from that little inside-outside game. The ball moved through hands again. Good signs for the Dolphins. Elle Hutchinson gets called with a reaching in foul. They'll send USC Rip City to the free throw line.
So Smith heading to the free throw line. Another good free throw shooter at over 70%.
And Rip City just doing a good job getting penetration through the keyway, finding the open player on the outside on the wing here. She's drawn the closeout and rip pass to draw the foul. Rip City want to get to the free throw line a lot, but they also want to get those easy layups. So they've got a great job of getting those inside looks.
Commentators curse got on the first one, but she puts in the back half of that. 13 points to 10, Dolphins lead.
And Smith's been strong for Rip City, just getting those seals that I was talking about before. The passes have been coming in. They've been probing passes to Smith, who's been sealing on the inside there of the keyway. So she's really set this tone for Rip City tonight.
As Hutchinson shoots a long two from the corner, 15-10, 4 minutes 50 to go in this first quarter. As Scott finds a way to the basket there for an easy two.
She's got a real good feel for the game, Scott. She bounced off that cut. She faded to the corner. She got the pass, and then nice little shot fake, went straight to the rack. Great job by Scott. And here's another one with a great feel for the game. And Dia Bryant catches in the corner, real hard rip base. Just one dribble, Gav, and she's already on the rim with that left hand. Exciting basketball here, folks.
Great game of women's basketball tonight. There's a turnover there from USC Rip City. Pryor on the fast break. It's got Dia Bryant in the help.
Pryor unlucky to get a call on that fast break there. She's gone for the foul straight after the play. A bit of ill discipline from Pryor. Got to be careful not to get a tech foul here, Gav. It's a frustration foul, retaliation by Rip City. Will get the possession of the ball from the baseline.
So Scott gets caught in the corner with some pressure from Bryant. Goes to pass, but that's got out of play. It's Dolphins ball from the sideline. Great turnover.
Great pressure from Hutchinson and Bryant. Hutchinson's coming to the game. She's hit a long two. She's got the steal there. Kerry Williams will be loving these contributions from players off the bench. When they can come in and give you that, they're checking into the game every time.
As Kennedy cuts through the keyway, and she's fouled as she puts up that shot. She'll go to the line for two to try and stretch this lead out. 3:46 to go in this first quarter. 17-12, the Dolphins lead. So Kennedy makes the first. Misses the second, and great hustle from Rachel Pryor. The Dolphins will get the ball back.
And that's where you can channel your aggression on the boards, coming up with loose balls, extra plays for your team. Great job, Rachel Pryor.
So Bryant again pulls up from the free throw line and drains another two as the Dolphins get out to an 8-point lead here, 20 points to 12, 3:36 to go in this first quarter. Changes coming from the USC Rip City bench.
Langhorne will take a breather. Smith back into the game.
There's pressure up the court again from the Dolphins. As Scott finds herself free on this side of the court, misses the shot as Kennedy comes up with the rebound. As Hutchinson drives to the basket, pulls up to put the shot up and gets fouled as she'll go to the line for two as well.
She's a handy player. She got the outlet pass and looked up the floor. Just continue with a hard dribble on her left hand against their star import, who's got 5 or 6 inches on it. She still drove hard and drew the foul. I just think that she's a valuable contributor off the bench. She can handle the rock. We often look at just Myra Donker being the only point guard for the Dolphins. I think Hutchinson can really fill a few more minutes and give them that second point guard look. She's done a great job so far.
So pressure again. This time it's broken through the center of the court. 21-12, 9-point lead to the Dolphins, 3 minutes to go. Bit of a stagnant offense this time from the USC Rip. They finally find Scott, who drives, and that's been blocked by Bryant. Smith puts up a long shot. And that's gone over the baseline. Dolphins ball.
That's a big block by Bryant. Scott just took a little left hand in and out, went up for the floater with nothing else going on. And dear Bryant just sent that.
And unfortunately, Kennedy passed that one to Coach Williams as Bryant was cutting baseline.
Rip City just trying to manufacture something against that Dolphin defense. They like the bigs high. Then they send them through to the keyway to get a cross pick or a down pick. Here comes Smith on the weak side now. Scott calling for the pick at the top of the keyway. This time it's Pryor with the big rejection. Rip City will be the ball from the baseline with only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. They're gonna have to get busy real quick here.
So as Naomi Moki checks in for Kennedy.
Smith launches the hurried three.
And that's going to be a 24 shot clock violation as that didn't hit the rim on the way through. So 2:13 to go in this first quarter. Dolphins comfortable with a 9-point lead at the moment, 21-12. For such an important game for USC Rip City to get back into the finals contention, they certainly need to pick up a bit of their own scoring.
Nice move by Pryor in the keyway. Not little fake to the base, little spin back to the middle with the left hand. Great finish. Rip City just looking to get that paint penetration, which worked so well for them before. They've just been rushing a lot of shots recently. Dolphins again on the fast break. Hutchinson to Pryor. Pryor will go to the line for two. It's a great push by the Dolphins. Rip City just getting worried out of moving the ball through hands again, Gav. Coach McCracken will be hoping that he can get his team settled and go back to what worked in that first 5 minutes of the first quarter. Because this game's getting blown out real quick.
So Summer Evans checks in for India Bryant, and Perkins makes her way back onto the court for Myra Donkin as Pryor misses the first of the free throws, which means she should make the second one. 52% free throw shooter, of which she does.
Dolphins in full court, man-to-man pressure.
So Smith across to Abbott, who drains that to 24-14. Dolphins with a 10-point lead.
Great job by Smith. Just drew out the defender, found the open shooter at the baseline there. That's what the Rip City need. A few more plays, be drawing that second help.
Great cut by Hutchinson under the basket. Reverse layup. And Perkins nearly with a steal, but she's pinged with a foul there, unfortunately.
It was a great cut by Hutchinson. Even better pass by Pryor. And the finish was unreal by Hutchinson to get that. Dolphins just up in the ante on the pressure. Rip City just looking to settle this down to close out the quarter.
So Smith and Abbott, a bit of a 1-2, and Abbott comes up with the easy two right under the basket.
That's the interior passing. That's the interior passing that they worked for them so well in that first 5 minutes, Gav. They're going back to it now. They're going to need every bit of it. Keep this scoreboard ticking over.
So fouls keep being called. It's going to send Pryor to the line. 28 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dolphins still with that 10-point lead, 26-16.
Abbott thought she stood her ground there. There was a couple of Rip City players formed a bit of a wall.
And 2 from Pryor that time, so 28-16, 12-point lead. As USC Rip City just slow it down.
Three-second shot clock differential. We're going to go to the line for two. Dolphins will close out the quarter.
Kennedy comes in for Pryor as she picks up her second foul. Abbott gets the first. We'll try that commentator's curse again, Lowes. A 77% free throw shooter.
She does what she can to stop the bleeding in the first quarter. Dolphins, 17 seconds left just to close it out. They use up the shot clock, slow it down. Perkins calling for that middle pick and roll, but it's just a bluff. This one's for real. Oh. Dolphins not sure now. Elle Hutchinson back to Kennedy.
So exciting first quarter there.
They tricked themselves out of that, what they were running in that last play they gave. But exciting quarter for the Dolphins, absolutely. Rip City, that second 5 minutes, just couldn't keep up the style of game that they liked. They went back to it at the end there. They found some cutters through the keyway, get those easy looks on the rim. But they can't have those lapses, the Rip City, where the shot's right up. But it's credit to the Dolphins. They upped the ante on the defensive pressure and really worried them out, and it started full court. They got a few turnovers early. A great job by Dolphins. Rip City got some work to do.
Yeah, Rip City certainly came out of the blocks and looked like they were going to stretch the Dolphins. But as you said, the Dolphins came back hard at them, got the points on the board. But it was also great D that was creating those points for them and gave them that 10-point lead. Very exciting first quarter that we've seen so far here at Early Settler Stadium tonight.
And high scoring too, Gav. 28 points in a quarter. Coach Williams is going to be loving that. Conversely, Coach McCracken's going to be saying, well, come on, girls. We got our targets. We've got it, under 20, under 22 points a quarter. You let another team get hot, another team get confident. It makes for a long game.
Yeah, Brian, 8 points, and Kennedy was 7 with those couple of dagger threes at the start of or in the first half of that quarter. Certainly helped get her scoring started.
Thought Hutchinson did well to contribute off the bench for the Dolphins. I think Langhorne's been able to get a few threes going for Rip City, or one to be precise. But they've had their interior passing. That's been their staple diet for most of this women's QBL season, and they've got to stick to their guns on that one. I really like their movement in the keyway there from Rip City, and they really find each other. Being a taller side, they're looking for those high-low passes from big to big and keep it over the hands of the Dolphins players.
And the Dolphins have done well to keep Scott, their leading scorer, just down to 4 points so far.
Rebound count in favour of the Dolphins, 12-9. You think with the taller side of Rip City that they've really got to own the glass this quarter. Perkins, lightning drive to the hoop. She couldn't reward herself. Kennedy, long-range 3 ball, 2 offensive boards to the Dolphins. The board now to Shaw. She doesn't like what was going on there.
So now Langhorne has it for Rip City. Cross to Smith. Scott has it now. Turns the corner. Gets all the way through to the middle of the key and puts up those 2.
Nice probing drive by Scott. She's strong on the left hand. She's a little shot fake and step through to find that nice little right hand, little floater off the glass. If you don't mind, Gav. Wonder if the bank, she called bank on that one.
So Dolphins now with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Naomi Moki puts up a very, very long 2, foot on the line to make that one back to the 10-point lead, 30-20, 8:40 to go in this second quarter. And this time Abbott gets the bank.
Oh, great pass by Smith. She finds Shaw. Finds Shaw on the side of the keyway there. Nice little right-hand hook off the glass. Kennedy from the short corner.
This time Height one out in that rebound. And Scott finds the way down the court. And she's blocked again. Kennedy this time with the block on Scott. As Bryant comes back in for Naomi Moki. Coach Williams has got to be happy with the couple of minutes that he got out of Naomi there. And great D by Jade Kennedy there to put up a fourth shot, which missed.
Sure might have been unlucky not to get a foul down the other end there. Thought she went into the keyway strong there. As you see, Bryant going to go to the line for 2 after a strong right-hand rip from the 45. Bryant and Perkins are so quick off that first step. Perkins didn't reward herself on the other side of the floor from the 45. Nice little rip on the left hand, just couldn't get the layup to go. Bryant this time, quick little in and out, straight to the rim, just beats their opponents on that first step. It's exciting basketball to see.
She gets 1 from 2. Margins at 9 points. The Dolphins in front, 31-22.
Shaw, nice little mid-range shot. Scott had the drive left, found the open Shaw on the 45 there, little mid-range. Rip City closing the gap now.
So this time Hutchinson puts up the 3, that one's short. It's almost a steal from Donk, but it's off her and it's gone out of bounds. So it's a USC Rip City ball. Scott to Abbott. And she puts up a jumper from the free throw line again.
Abbott closes the gap to 5 points. Great job by Rip City. Fight back.
As this time, Pryor gets the easy 2 as Donkin finds the beautiful bounce pass through the key. As Bryant's going to pick up a foul there as she bumps off Scott.
Myra was quick in transition there before. Just sensed the gap closing. Didn't like the look of that. She found Pryor on that easy transition bucket.
So 6:46 to go. The Dolphins are out by that 7 points, 33-26. As Langhorne steps out of bounds. That was probably that little bit of pressure where the Dolphins knew they had to run her off the 3-point line, and she's taken that step back. And I think last time you were here, Lars, we had to get the tape measure out, didn't we, to see whether or not it was a legal size court.
The orange line on the brown court with the aqua border. Although it's been like that for years, Gav.
So with 3 seconds on the shot clock, Donkin puts up a long 3, and that's gone down. 36-26. We're back out to that 10-point margin. 6:10 to go in this second quarter.
The penetration by Perkins drew that extra defender, found an open Myra Donkin, who knocks down the triple. Great team play. Abbott wheeling and dealing. The shot is short in the keyway. Dolphins on the fast break now.
Again, they find Pryor under the basket. Couldn't get that one to go down. As that one's picked off by Pryor, another turnover for USC Rip City. As Perkins has it on the far side, puts it up for 3, and that one's gone down as well. And USC Rip City, Coach Jay McCracken's seen enough, and he's asked for a timeout. 13 points up, the Dolphins are, with 5:22 to go in this second quarter.
Dolphins really finding their stroke from long range. It makes for a long night for the opposition, Gav.
So the 3 balls going down for the Dolphins tonight. Hasn't been in the past few weeks. Bit of practice, bit of change of lineup. Shots are dropping. It all certainly helps, and nearly 40 points with 5 minutes to go in this second quarter.
Look, I mean, Coach Williams has got to be happy with that. The glad wrap is off the rim now. The shots are going down. It's happy days. Rip City going a little bit terminal with the one-on-one moves. The Dolphins are crowding, sending another player, almost a double team, that post presence. The Rip City can get the ball through hands and maybe find those open shooters like they've done sporadically. There's been a sprinkling of good penetration and kickouts. Just really using the ball a bit better. I think the Rip City will find some points in pretty quick succession.
Yeah, only shooting at 38%, the Rip City. Dolphins shooting at 53, so it's not just getting in close to the basket either that's being good for the Dolphins. They've been able to get that long ball to drop as well, shooting that at 62%.
The Rip City got some good footwork in their bigs. They've got the spins, the turn, the little shot fake up and under, but they're just almost taking a second too long or an extra bounce too long. They can just quicken up their moves, find the ball, let the ball move around through sets of hands.
There's desperation there. Kennedy and Pryor both going for the rebound. So Dolphins come up with it. Donker now left alone on the three-point line, in and out. Still that 13-point margin, 4 minutes 50 to go in this first half of basketball here at Early Settlers Stadium tonight. As Scott now, she was left wide open on the three-point line. Couldn't get it to drop as Bryant comes down with that rebound. As that pass was a bit too strong for Pryor, and she turns that one over. So Langhorne now driving through the keyway, finds Smith on the far side, and that one's gone down for three of their own for USC Rip City. As Coach Williams wants to have a chat to the Dolphins.
Much needed three in the corner from Smith, just what the Rip City needed, just to get a glimpse of closing this thing in under 10-point deficit. I really like Carden David's ability to move the ball. She really probed that corner, the elbow there to find open shooter in the corner. She can get more of that, get her team going. It's certainly a handy contribution for Rip City.
Yeah, so 10 points is the margin now, Louws. It's been quite comfortable around about that 10 points for most of the game after that initial push from USC Rip City. Coach Williams has got to be happy with the contributions he's had of all of his players that he's put out on the court so far.
Well, Rip City cut it to 5, but then the Dolphins very quickly had a sense of urgency to get it straight back. So, like I said, they get the ball through hands to get those open looks. Just a bit more disciplined play from the Rip City would be what's in store to cut this lead back. But they get it back to 5 and then get it back to, tied up, then they'll be happy. But going into the second half, 4 minutes, got to cut the lead down to 5.
Coach Williams certainly using all of his time allocated in his time out there tonight.
Coach Kerry Williams with the tearaway jeans, Gav, getting ready for the Marlins game, of course. So he's had to send in his order for a new pair of pants. The ones that rip away.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are those ones, Louws?
So he's got his Marlins jersey and shorts on under those trousers, Gav. So they just one quick rip and they're tear away. Just got to make sure he doesn't want to come on the Dolphins floor.
So turnover there for the Dolphins. 3:48 to go, that 10-point margin, 39-29. As Smith finds Langhorne on the elbow. Some of the Dolphins a bit slow getting back there, but came back up with a rebound as that shot missed. So Bryant driving to the lane. Passes across to Pryor, who gets cleaned up from behind. She'll go to the line for 2 more.
The strong right-hand drive by Bryant. A nice little scoop pass over the top to find Pryor. Great vision by, she's a 3, but she's really a point guard, the way she handles the ball.
So Pryor gets the second of those shots. 40-29, that leads out to 11 points. 3 minutes 20 to go in this first half of women's basketball. As Carden Smith cuts along baseline, misses the shot.
Nice backdoor cut. Yeah, nice backdoor cut by Carden David. Unfortunately, couldn't get it to go. That's the right read, though. As a coach, you want your players to be making the right read. Sometimes the shot doesn't pull off, all the time. But if your players are thinking the right things, making the right passes, then you've got to be happy with that.
So Shaw's going to go to the line as Kennedy picks up a foul. Shaw makes both of those take her tally to 6. As again, the Dolphins' lead is cut to below 10. 3 minutes to go. Inside pass to Pryor, and this time it's Shaw that picks up the foul on Pryor.
Abbott will check in the game now for sure. She's got 2. Coach McCracken just doesn't want her to pick up that third foul, especially in the first half.
As Pryor driving to the basket there in the short baseline pass, has been fouled by Smith, and that's going to send Pryor to the line. Coach McCracken, I don't think was happy with that call, but it was certainly a quick one. And again, 1 from 2 from Pryor, so it's back out to 10 points, 41-31.
Smith to Abbott, nice little free throw line jump shot. Myra Donkin quick up to Andia Bryant, who answers with an easy 2 on the side of the key there.
So 2:30 to go in this first half. Still that 10-point lead to the Dolphins as Scott's back on the floor for USC Rip City.
Great poise by Scott, had the little fake. She almost didn't want to shoot at the end. She sensed the occasion. And Dear Bryant just had a shot blocked there. She almost could have been a foul. Rachel's gone in for the rebound or the get the possession back. She'll sit down now with a few fouls to her name. Scott to steady the ship for Rip City.
So 2 minutes to go in this first half. Scott puts up a long 2, and that cuts the lead back to 6 again, Lowes, 37-43. Dolphins just need to settle in this last 1 minute 45. As Bryant finds some room again, doesn't get the roll. This time it's Langhorne all the way down the court.
Aggressive move, coast to coast. They've cut it to 4 points, Gav, just with sheer grit and determination. The Dolphins have done well to answer plays quickly, but on this occasion, it's back to 4 points. Coach Williams just to get them settled with 1:27 left in the half.
Yeah, those last few plays, Lowes, Dolphins looked a little bit unsettled in their offense and couldn't find the shot that they wanted. Defense has certainly been picked up by USC Rip City as a couple of turnovers came their way.
Yeah, Rip City in their offense just do a nice job of causing confusion. They'll get a few players to run together. One will set the screen. Someone will come off. Leah Scott on that last one just popped back from the screen instead of cutting off. Just causes that bit of confusion. Then she was able to get separation and get a nice open shot. That wasn't there in the second part of that first quarter. They've found their mojo. They're starting to click on all cylinders. Great job, Rip City. They'll be going into this halftime break with their tails up for sure.
Yeah, momentum is certainly on their side at the moment. Dolphins need to build again to get their lead back out a bit higher than what it currently is. They'll be hoping to stretch it closer to the 8 points before halftime comes.
You just want quality possessions here to close out this quarter, to close out the half.
So certainly plenty of movement from the Dolphins on this possession. Ends up with Donkin at the free throw line, who puts up that two successfully.
And that's a quality possession. The ball reversed 3 times before they turned the corner, and Myra Donkin got the nice easy two.
That was the hard bank off the for USC.
Carden David with the sticky hands, got the steal off a scoop pass of Bryant. Unbelievable play, Gav. You read that well. And she'll help herself to a 3. Langhorne on the easy 2-point putback to keep Rip City in check.
So 4 points is the lead for the Dolphins. They're going to pull it out for the one last play of this first half.
Coach Williams calling for some patience. It's a 1 second shot clock differential. Myra will close it out. You don't want to give them another possession.
She gets fouled driving to the line.
Fouled with 6 seconds left. Some coaches might look at that and say, look, you should have used up all the shot clock before you've gone for the drive. Now Rip City have enough time to inbound and get up the floor. With a bit of shot clock awareness or time management, you've really got to eliminate those opportunities.
So Donkin makes the first, stretch that lead out to 5. Make that 6. With 6 seconds to go, a long 3 from Smith, and that's all air. And that's gone out of bounds with 0.1 of a second left. Dolphins are going to have to inbound this ball. And that, folks, is half-time. Dolphins leading 47-41, and certainly an entertaining game of women's basketball tonight, Laos.
Some really high scoring, really good quality basketball, Gav. I was really impressed with a lot of the back cuts with the passing on point. There was high-lows from an inside presence from Rip City to get some points on the board, some good ball movement, which led to open shots. Really high quality basketball from both sides and really high scoring match, 47-41. We could be getting to the hundreds here, Gav, by the end of the night. What do you think?
It'd be great to see, Laos. Abbott leading the USC Rip City with 12 points, Leah Scott with 10. And with the Dolphins, we've got Bryant on 11, and then we've also got Donkin on 10 with those last couple of free throws. So looking forward to an exciting second half. It should be great.
And aptly held by Pryor. We'll take a short break here, Gav. Come back in a few minutes for an exciting second half.
To early Settler Stadium, everyone, where we're getting set for this second half of what has been an exciting game of women's basketball so far. Our Ken Frost Holmes Dolphins leading 47-41. They've got that 6-point lead, and USC Rip City certainly want the win to get back into the top 8 for the playoff contention. I think Dolphins are out of playoff contention, currently sitting in 11th. A few games out of the top 8. But it's been a great night so far. We've had some excellent basketball by these women tonight. Dolphins currently shooting 53% from the field and also rebounding. We spoke about it earlier. They were leading the rebound count, but that's actually tightened up in the second quarter there, and it's now all tied up, 22 rebounds apiece from both teams. Shooting from USC Rip City has improved in that second quarter and certainly outscored the Dolphins 23-19. But it was that first quarter that the Dolphins, 28 points to 18 to the USC Rip City. Great contributions from a couple of the ladies that hadn't been scoring the last few weeks, with Kennedy finding range and also Donkin. Couple of three-point shots dropping early for both of those ladies. So the only real person in foul trouble for the Dolphins is Rachel Pryor with 3. So Coach Williams has got to be happy with the contributions that he's got from all of his bench players, and even Hutchinson tonight. She's played nearly 13 minutes for 5 points, but it's been that hustle and that full court pressure, Lowes, that has caused a few of those turnovers in that second half of the first quarter, which built the lead there for the Dolphins. Yeah,
absolutely. You spoke about the fouls to Pryor. LJ Williams was starting the game to perhaps alleviate a bit of that pressure early on. With Leah Scott for Rip City starting the game, usually starting games pretty hotly, so it hasn't seemed to have reduced the fouls for Pryor, unfortunately, but LJ Williams will start the second half. Kerry Williams will go to the same lineup that he started the game with. Rip City, on the other hand, they've been perhaps a bit unlucky with a few fouls to some of their bigs, but if they can get Langhorne going from 3, get some quality possessions, then they can close this 6-point gap, and hopefully they can get back on the same level with the Dolphins, and then get in front.
So USC Rip City is going to start with possession in this second half. 6 points is the starting margin for the Dolphins. As they find some penetration in the keyway with Smith under the basket. She can't get one to drop, but she's being fouled, and that's going to be a foul on Donkin. 2 shots to come.
Great possession to start for Rip City. Nice little high-low again. Just throwing it above the hands of Myra Donkin. She's giving up a bit of height down there, so they're going to their advantage. Great job, Rip City. They'll go to the line for 2.
So Shaw misses both of those. And they're going to get one more, as it seems like Perkins has stepped in from behind the 3-point line before the shots hit the rim. And she misses the third. Tipped out by Rip City. So just that one possession down. The score has not changed. 9 minutes 30 to go. 47-41. Williams hands off to Donkin. Finds Kennedy. Perkins at the top of the arc. Shoots for 3. And that one goes down. Excellent shot from Perkins.
It's a sweet looking shot from Perkins. Nice backspin. She really takes an extra second to actually position the ball in her hands. Great shooter, Perkins.
As again USC Rift City find their way to a couple of people under the basket. And this time it's Donkin all the way from coast to coast. Puts that one up and it's back out to 11-point lead all of a sudden, Louws. 8:56 to go. As another turnover happens, it's going to be a Dolphins ball as that is deflected off Smith for an outlet pass.
And LJ actually got a piece of that shot off the block there. Shaw took the 2-point shot from the block. LJ actually got a piece of it, which sent the Dolphins on their fast break before.
So 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Brian has to put one up. Doesn't drop for her.
Abbott to steady the ship for Rip City. Smith now at the top. A legal pick called on Abbott. She's just moved into it at the seam there. In those situations, sometimes you don't know if the guard with the ball didn't wait long enough for the big to get set or whether the big just moved into the screen. Either way, it'll be Dolphins ball.
So LJ again hands off to Perkins, uses her as a screen, puts up another three, which drops beautifully. 55-41, all of a sudden it's a 14-point margin.
Perkins has got her eye in. This is dangerous territory for Rip City. They've got to get quality. They can't rush shots like that one. Dolphins will be very quick down the other end of the floor. Perkins calling for the middle on ball. Jade Kennedy to set the first one. LJ will set a screen at the second time. Nice board by LJ. The kick out to Myra Donkin. The 3-point shot was short. Scott now. She's gone down heavy. A left hand little in and out to get some penetration in the paint. Myra Donkin's clocked her with the right knee. Might be a bit of a corky there, Gav. She'll go to the line perhaps. Or they might call it from the base.
Looks like she's going to the line.
They're calling it in the act of shooting. This is interesting, Gav. She's lined up left of center on the free throw line. I haven't seen this for a long time. So she's standing in the middle, but then she's taken about 2 steps to the left of the center position of the free throw line. Whatever works, Gav. If it works, you know what? I'm rolling with it. 2 points is 2 points.
Well, she got both of those, and I did actually see her doing that in warm-up before the game.
It's a bold strategy, Gav, and it certainly paid off in this case.
So the Dolphins this time trying to get LJ free in the keyway. Can't get that one to drop, but it was good movement from the Dolphins to find LJ. And this time,
Smith unlucky to not get that roll. She had a great drive to the bucket. Strong right hand, just couldn't quite get it up high enough to get it in the rim, but she'll go to the line to reward herself for 2.
That was the third foul on Perkins, and with 6:50 to go in this third quarter, she won't want to pick up her 4th.
Smith sensing the deficit. She showed in the first half, Gav. She's going to take this team, put it on her shoulders a bit, just trying to manufacture some kind of offense that can get them back in the contest. They're at 10 points now. They certainly won't want it to get any further.
As Perkins takes a seat with those 3 fouls, Hutchinson comes in, but they certainly don't lose anything with Hutchinson coming onto the floor. This time it's Pryor driving away to the basket, and the foul's going to be called on Shaw. And that's her third foul as well. She takes a seat. As Naomi Moki comes in for Jade Kennedy for the Dolphins. As the ball ends up with Brian at the free throw line and puts that easy jumper down, 57-45.
Rip City straight back down the other end. Scott up to Smith, who found Abbott under the bucket. Well, that's the kind of play they're going to need just to turn the tables quickly for the Rip City.
As Bryant drives to the basket, doesn't get the call.
Langhorne couldn't find Carden David. It would have been a handy 2 to cut it to 8. Coach McCracken just livid. They couldn't make the most of that opportunity there. He's a lot more animated now in this third quarter, Gav.
And both coaches getting animated, as well as Coach Williams was given a warning from the referees just to keep it down a little bit. It's 10 points the margin, the Dolphins in front. 5:38 to go in this third quarter. Make it 8 points as Abbott puts in another 2 for the USC Rip City.
Rip City going to a bit of a zone now. Dolphins to adjust. They're getting players slicing through the keyway. Hutchinson now on the 45. Pryor back to Bryant. She's got to save it in half court. Moki from a long way out. The shot clock will expire. And that's a great hustle play from Rip City, Gav. Just turning the tables a bit. They'll probably stay in that zone for a bit now.
As the zone has certainly disrupted the offense of the Dolphins that time down. I'm sure they'll look at doing that again. And this time Smith gets the ball to drop.
It was a give and go. Moki couldn't quite slide the feet across. You get up clipping Shaw on the drive. Smith had the presence of mind to make the 2 and make the Dolphins pay.
So she's at the line for the and 1. 5 minutes and 1 second to go. And the score is now 57-52. It's back to 5 points. As Rip City stays in the zone. The pressure comes. This time Hutchinson pulls up from the free throw line. Finds Pryor, who puts that one down for 2.
Was it a pass, Gav, or was it a timely shot, a missed shot?
I think Hutchinson will take that as an assist.
Yep. We'll see if the scorers agree.
As Smith comes back with an answering long 2.
Rip City still active in the zone. Rachel Pryor finds an angle. Nice give and go. Rachel Pryor finishes with the left hand.
And this time it's Langhorne with the long 2. 61-56, 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Dolphins still with their noses in front. This time it's Pryor out on the wing. She drives baseline, finds Bryant on the 45, and that's money for Bryant from there. Seven points up with 3 minutes 35 to go. The Dolphins 63. Smith again.
Smith helps herself. That little mid-range jumper. She's been active all game, Gav. She's certainly to take this team on her shoulders. Try and bring them back out of the red.
So Bryant this time driving through the keyway. She gets fouled as she puts the ball up.
Just a sweet little right to left crossover. Drew the contact. And Dia Bryant will help herself to 2 free throws. As Sarah Hurd checks into the game for Naomi Moki. Perkins 3 fouls. That'll send Sarah Hurd in to give her a bit of a breather. If Coach Kerry Williams can just save Perkins for the 4th quarter. Sarah Hurd immediately getting some contributions. Gets the big board there for the Dolphins.
So Pryor again spinning in the keyway to find those 2 points. 66-58, 8 points is the lead. As Smith again pulls up, but that one doesn't drop. But she nearly cuts off the pass. Hutchison gives it up to Bryant. Bit of razzle-dazzle there from Bryant.
I like a bit of razzle, but you know what I like more than razzle? I like dazzle. A little behind the back, through the legs. A little right to left crossover to pull up for the 2 if you don't mind.
This time it's Scott around the outside. And somehow Scott finds herself free under the basket and picks up that errant pass for an easy 2. This time it's Donkin driving to the line. Can't get that one to fall, but she's fouled as she puts up the shot. She'll head to the line for 2.
Jade Kennedy to check back into the game for Rachel Pryor. Sits down with 3 fouls. She did well not to get her 4th. That one there for Pryor. Great quarter from Rachel. She really changed a lot of got the Rip City out of that zone by cutting through so many times, finding little left-hand finishes on the rim. Just getting that paint penetration against that zone play. It's a great job.
And now Perkins checks back in for Donkin. So one lady with 3 fouls taking a seat, another one with 3 fouls checking in for the Dolphins. 1 minute 30 to go. It's still that 10-point margin to the Dolphins. As Kennedy's going to get called for the foul here.
Nice little pick and roll for Rip City. I think Langhorne came off and Abbott rolled, found her over the top. Abbott just had the presence of mind to stay steady, just collect herself before putting up the shot. Dolphins call with a foul.
So as Bryant takes its seat as well to rest for that last minute and a half of the 3rd quarter, Summer Evans checks back into the game. So the Rip City's still in that bit of a zone there, Lowes, and Perkins ends up taking a tough shot from the 45, which doesn't drop. And Abbott finds herself in the key, putting up the 2, but that misses as well. 55 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. Dolphins with a 9-point lead, 70-61.
They're getting the ball reversals that they want, the Dolphins. Just got to make the right read off that finish. Hutchinson now on the 45. She's running out of time. LJ inside. Caden David come across with the reaching foul. That'll send Kennedy to the line. LJ to the line for 2. Sorry. Got a nice touch from the free throw line, LJ. Goes through a routine. Nice soft touch off the stripe there. Crucial buckets in this situation for Coach Williams to be able to rely on all his bench, all his players, well in this case a starter, to finish those free throws. Carden David, nice little 2-pointer on the side of the key.
So down to the final 10 seconds of this third quarter. It's just that 9-point lead to the Dolphins as Hutchinson all the way to the basket.
She nearly got it to go. She was wheeling and dealing. Crossed over a double team that came away. Nearly mustered up the left-hand finish. It'll certainly use up the shot clock. That's just as good as not giving him another possession.
So at three-quarter time here at Early Settler Stadium, Louws, Dolphins leading 72-63. Certainly that third quarter lived up to the expectation of the first half, and it's been an exciting game of basketball tonight.
Absolutely. Another high-scoring quarter. I want to say it's about 26. What have we got? 25 points for the Dolphins. I was pretty close. It was just a guess. 25-point quarter, so still high-scoring. Rip City were able to contain defensively the Dolphins, who still put those points on the board, just letting them score too much, Gav. Conversely, Rip City did make those pushes. They did cut it to 4 multiple times. Couldn't hold on because the Dolphins came back down the other way. So where it's got to come into play now in this fourth quarter, Rip City's just got to stay composed. I like the way Smith is going about the game. She's really probing hard and trying to make things work. Rip City can't get terminal though. Can't just go one pass, someone dribble it into a shot. Got to move the ball, get teammates the rock, and find those open shooters.
So Bryant leading the way for the Dolphins, 18 points. Pryor, she's had a great game tonight, 15 points. And then also Donkin, one of her biggest games this year so far with 14 points. All three of those women have put up some excellent shots, found the right possession to put up a good shot for the team, and obviously it's turned on to points onto the scoreboard for them.
Yeah, look, I mean, Pryor scored 6 points that quarter just from that zone. The Rip City changed it up to a zone. Pryor was the antidote for that. She got through the key. They found the teammates found her in the key. She's gone for the left-hand finishes, right-hand finishes, spinning, wheeling, and dealing. So that's kind of broken the zone. Jay McCracken, for the coach of Rip City, had to go back to man just to try and contain them in some other way. But there's been some positive signs for Rip City. If Langhorne can get busy this quarter, she sat down early with fouls. They're going to be really looking to go to Scott in this fourth quarter as well, Gav. The deficit now is 9 points for them. They've got to get to work early, cut this deficit down in half by 5 minutes to go, and let's see what shakes in the last part of this game.
Yeah, you spoke about Langhorne before the game started, Louws. It's like she was the three-point shooter that we had to contain. They've obviously done that because she's only put up 1 3-point shot so far tonight, as Donkin drains another 3 herself. So
Moira's been on the receiving end of some great basketball tonight. There's been penetration. They've found her for open looks, but she's also knocked down the shots, which has been big.
As Langhorne puts up that long 2 for the drops for her. It's 10-point margin, 9:25 to go in this final term here at Early Settler Stadium. As she nearly gets a touch on that one, Langhorne. They find Bryant wide open on the other side of the court. Great tap by Kennedy to gets it to Pryor. Puts up the easy 2, takes it out to a 12-point lead. So Scott driving baseline. There's only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. She passes out to McDonald, puts out the long 3. And this time, Perkins is going for the ball, has been fouled by McDonald. So Dolphins looking to extend this lead out as Pryor drives to the basket this time.
Pryor is absolutely livid. There was no foul call on that. Now she's gone for the nearly hip and shouldered Carden David in the keyway there.
Watch out for this next play down the other end. As Donkin fights away past 2, gets Kennedy on the 45, doesn't drop. Scott pulls down that rebound, and Rip City are off and running.
Abbott strong to the bucket from the post. Dolphins got a huddle, stay composed here. Great job by Abbott to draw the foul. She'll look to cut this lead to 6. Smith checks back into the game for Carden David. She's been handy tonight, Carden David. I really like the way she's really steered the ship for Rip City, been able to get some penetration, find open shooters.
So back to 10 points as Abbott makes both of those free throws. As Perkins needs to take a seat as she picked up her 4th foul. 8 minutes 10 to go in this final quarter. The Rip City set up in a zone again.
Mara from pretty much the car park launches the 3. Rip City on the push now.
It's a great pick off there by Hutchinson as the ball was heading into Scott. This time it's Donkin driving, finds Bryant. Bryant puts it up. And Pryor ended up on the floor there.
I was looking at the shot and the celebration from Bryant. She knocks the triple down. It'll count, but there'll be a holding foul, and the ball will go back to the Dolphins from the baseline here. Pryor was pushed down to the ground on the rebound. Jade spinning on that post, getting the layup shot. She's getting a foul on the layup, sorry. She'll go to the line. This will be a 5-point play for this possession, Gav, based on that foul that Pryor received. Big turn of events for Dolphins. This is a big point of the game.
So Kennedy at the line to extend the lead. She makes the first. 81-67 with 7:20 to go. 2 from 2 for Kennedy, so it's out to 15 points now.
Going from a 10 to a 15-point game in one trip up the floor.
As Langhorne answers from the corner. Only a 2 though, 69-82, 7 minutes and 8 to go in this final term here at Early Settlers Stadium. Donkin probing there, cuts it back out to Hutchinson. Pryor has to find a way through now. She puts it up. Great rebound from Kennedy. Three seconds left on the shot clock. They get it to Kennedy, back out to Donkin. Puts up a 3 with nothing left on the shot clock. And that drops. And we are out to 85-69, 6:20 to go in this final term.
The pass was deflected from Bryant to Kennedy. She still managed to reel it in and find Myra on the 45 there, who's been hot all night. Smith couldn't get it to go.
As Hutchison turns the ball over in centre court there. Langhorne to Smith, finds Scott.
The 2 points will count for Scott. Smith to Scott, nice little dish. Could have been a foul off the floor. It'll be a baseline ball as well.
So that pass has been picked off and a turnover. The Dolphins with the ball now. 85-71, 5:50 to go in this final term. There's Donkin driving for the basket this time, and the foul's been called on Langhorne.
Mara's been active all game, and it's kind of been a quiet, the points that she's put up on the board, it's come from other teammates' good play, but she's been probing all the gaps. She's really been getting in there and just making things happen.
So as Naomi Moki's made her way onto the court to give Pryor a break. Again, Donkin driving through, finds the basket. 87-71, 5:25 to go in this final term. USC Rip City got to find something soon, Lows, if they're going to come away with a win. Not looking likely as they seem to be rushing their offense at the moment. As we see Bryant just pull up on the 45 and that's her money shot. And USC Rip City, coach needs to talk to them. 18 points the margin, 5 minutes to go, Early Settler Stadium in this final quarter.
Donkin just having no trouble, shot fake, getting around the taller Rip City players. She's the little power pocket, just getting in there, finding a nice little scoop pass on that last shot. Great job, Donkin, for the whole game here. It's pushed it out to 18. It's not time to put the cue on the rack yet. Coach Williams will save his bench players perhaps a few more minutes before sending in the squad that will close out the game. Rip City just got to salvage, hopefully cut this thing under 10. If they can just get to that point, maybe they can make something shake in these last few minutes. But the Dolphins have just had answers at every corner, every turn.
Yeah, Donkin's now leading scorer for the game tonight with 22 points. As you said, Lows, she's been in everything. She's tried her heart out and found her way through to the basket. She's been probing. She's had some great passes off other players. And, shooting a huge percentage tonight. 3 from 3 from 2, but also 4 from 7 from three-point line. That's great shooting for her.
They haven't been forced threes. Like I said, they've been open threes, which means the team play has been on point. Bryant with an athletic block. Just launched herself in the air for that block.
As Moki puts up a three, doesn't get it, but
she
Kennedy
hit one earlier.
comes up with a rebound. And that foul's been called on McDonald. Well, it was a bit of a scrum as Kennedy was trying to get through those two Rip City players then. As Perkins checks back in to give Donkin a bit of a rest. So 91-71, it's a 20-point ball game. Ken Frost home Dolphins leading the way. Lows, we settled at half time. Could be shooting for 100. 9 points to go with 4.5 minutes left in the game.
It's certainly gettable for the Dolphins. Rip City got a choice to make. They've got a double-header. They can't expend the energy completely from their starters. They might even look to go to the bench here.
As Smith puts in a three from the corner, cuts that margin back. So Bryant puts up a shot from the free throw line and it's been blocked, but called a foul from the referees on Scott.
It was a fairly clean block from my angle here, Gav. Scott was able to elevate it and get a piece of the ball. She certainly thought that she was hard done by to collect a foul on that one. Referee just going over to get her settled down. Can't have those reactions here, Gav.
So with 4 minutes left in the game, Dolphins end up with an offensive rebound after that missed free throw. Bryant again around the outside the perimeter. Gets Kennedy. She puts up a shot as the shot clock expires. Doesn't connect, so that's a 24-second shot clock violation. Rip City have got the ball back. Summer Evans checks back in as Bryant takes a seat, and Naomi Moki takes a seat as well as LJ Williams comes back in for the Dolphins. Rip City trying to find Scott there, and she's been fouled by Summer Evans just onto the court. As Luke the DJ gets in a bit early on this Can You Feel It music.
Yeah, 3 minutes 30 left if she hits this three.
That's a bit long as Perkins comes away with that one. Evans now finds LJ as she finds a way around a couple of defenders and puts that two down. 94-74, still that 20 points the margin.
Nice little right hand finish by LJ. Shaw from the top of the key. Rip City with the offensive board. Langhorne to steady the ship. Shaw inside again. The and one, it's a tough finish. And she'll go to the line for the extra shot.
So Shaw makes that one. It's back to a 17-point ball game. 3 minutes to go. Bit of extended pressure from USC Rip City. The Dolphins get out of that reasonably easily. As Kennedy finds Hutchinson as she drives, looks for some help. As Williams gets it again. Banging under the basket there. Couldn't get that one to drop. And Shaw again. He finds Langhorne, their three-point shooter, and that drops. So it's 80-94 now. 2 minutes 25
Certainly
to go in this.
Put the cue in the rack here, Rip City. They're still attacking.
Oh,
heavy foul by
that's
Abbott.
A heavy foul under the basket by Abbott.
And LJC in red there. She thought it was a bit of a hard foul across the head there. Just taking a minute to compose herself here before the free throws.
So it's 2:20 to go in this final quarter here at Early Settler Stadium. I think Coach Williams is getting closer to the locker room so he can get those that change of clothes into the Marlins outfit.
Oh, he doesn't have to go there anymore, Gav. He's got the tearaway pants, and they're ready to go. Don't worry, they're locked and loaded. He was at the tailors earlier on, getting them fitted.
Rip City ends up with the ball after that one.
Change his shoes though.
Great hustle from the Dolphins there, and jump ball, possession arrow to the Rip City. 2 minutes to go, 16 points the margin. Those Dolphins still need another 4 points to crack the ton.
Sarah Hurd to check into the game. Kennedy's had a great game tonight, Gav. Got that tasty little tap pass to Pryor for that easy two. She's a smart player. She's moved the ball well. She's really steadied them tonight. Great job, Kennedy.
So Abbott with the ball. She's only got 1 second on the shot clock. I don't think she realised. Didn't get a shot away in time. So the Ken Frost home Dolphins, they look like they've got this one in the bag with only a minute 50 to go. 16 points that margin. Perkins pulls up, throws up a nice little soft right-hander.
She's been business-like tonight, Gav. Business-like for Perkins. as Coach McCracken for Rip City is going to send in his bench to finish out the game.
As Langhorne drops that 3. That's her shot. 98-83. And yes, benches have certainly been cleared.
They can rest up for tomorrow night. Rip City.
Both teams.
Got a tough game. And that sunshine swing.
Yeah. Townsville Fire is certainly a dominant women's team in this league at the moment. And with players like Darcy Garvin on their team, they do an extremely good job. So with a minute 17 on the clock, US Rip City coach wants to talk to the bench and let them know what he expects in this last minute. Call to timeouts. Can't take them with you, I suppose.
Well, he's going to want this bench unit to be able to, play a certain way. Hopefully, give them a bit of instruction, maybe just to execute just a few small things. You're not obviously going to get back into the game, and bring the score back, but maybe you can get something out of these last couple minutes.
It's a very quick timeout from them, and looks like he's drawn up a play or two for them to come out and execute. But it's certainly been an enthralling game tonight, Louws. High scoring for the Women's League, and but just some excellent play from both sides, and the Kenfrost Homes Dolphins have been able to get on top of these USC Rip City for what's going to be an excellent win.
Look, it's great when shots drop. 83 points for Rip City. That's a high scoring game as well. It's been fun basketball. It's been high quality. The team play has been good. Both teams have just gone at it. Dolphins will come up with the win tonight. Carden David short on the 3. And a nice rebound. Meg Ditchburn will go to the line for 2. She's come off the bench for her first minutes of the game. Just a few back stretches just to get going there on the free throw line.
Yeah, sitting on the bench for 3 quarters or three quarters and 3/4 of the fourth quarter.
But it's big. You come into the game, you're cold, and you get the hustle play, and you knock down a free throw for your troubles.
As Coach Williams decides he can't take his time home either, he's extending this game out a little bit longer.
I think he wants an extra minute of his warm-up because he's pacing up and down the sideline there, Gav. So he's calling for more.
So he'll be drawing up a play for his bench to crack that 100. It's a minute to go. Kenfrost Homes Dolphins leading 98-84. Certainly been top-class game tonight here at Early Settler Stadium. Enjoyed every minute of it. Shots dropping, good defense, but girls have been able to get open when they needed to make those shots go down.
I've liked the offense for Rip City. I think they've really worked well. High-low passes inside the paint. They've used their height to their advantage. When they've let themselves down is when they've kind of gone terminal or succumbed to the pressure, and it's taken them out of their rhythm. When they've found dribble penetration, found the open shooters, they've looked good. Smith's hit a few in the corner. They've hit short corner shots as well. But they've drawn 2 defenders and then found the open player. They've gone away from that and just been inconsistent tonight. Dolphins, on the other hand, have been more on the attack. Dolphins have been more on the attack and quicker to answer those scores by Rip City, and have just found themselves with a comfortable margin and able to maintain that.
So as McDonald puts up a 3, as Carden David comes over the back for an AFL mark, doesn't quite catch it, but she's
Carden David picks up the foul.
fouled Janae Downing, and she's going to go to the line.
Well, Ditchburn would have had that offensive board. She was crashing hard to the glass. She almost, at this point, let the game play out. And
Downing misses that first one. Still at 98, the Dolphins.
Janae inching closer just to that century. It's on 90. Oh! Sarah. Oh! Sarah Herr with the offensive board. She's got a chance to take it to 100 now.
Sheebner's been called for that foul. As Hurd makes the first, we go to 99. And Lowes, there's the 100 for the Dolphins.
There's the triple. You don't see it too often in the women's QBL game. It's been an unreal game, Gav. High scoring, great quality basketball. Carden David from long range. Summer Evans on the push. LJ over the top with a nice left-hand finish.
30 seconds to go. 18 points the margin. Carden David streaks away. Puts in another 2 for the US Rip City. So Bibi Baker just slowing it down, using up the clock. Hurd this time drives and puts up a nice little
I like that, Gav. A nice little floater off the 1 foot. That's what you work on in individuals. Nice 2 from the short corner there by Shaw. She's been solid tonight for Rip City.
And that's it. 104 to our Kenfrost Homes Dolphins. They've defeated the Rip City to 88 here at Early Settler Stadium. Enthralling match tonight, Lowes. Some great scoring from both teams. 100% effort. And what more superlatives can we have for it?
It's been a great spectacle for the fans, Gav. Great quality basketball on both sides. An exciting game. Dolphins just hold and maintaining composure. The deficit for Rip City got to 4. Dolphins held their nerve and extended a bit more. Rip City threw everything at it. They went to the zone. They went to pressure the Dolphins more. Dolphins just too solid from beyond the arc. Perkins just really found her. Got an iron in early. Donkin was busy at both ends of the floor, Gav.
Yeah, so Bryant finished with 23 points for the Dolphins tonight, and Donkin 22. And as you said, USC Rip City have got a game in Townsville tomorrow night, so their starters certainly sat down for that last few minutes once the game had been done. But Abbott 19 points, Smith with 20. Langhorne finished up with 17 after she drained those couple of long threes towards the end of the game there. So good contribution from all of their scorers, and a great win from our Kenfrost Home Dolphins. We'll leave it there, folks, and thanks very much for tuning in again. We'll be back in about 15 minutes or so on another stream to bring you the men's game of the Skytrans Marlins against the US3 Rip City. So be back in 15 minutes.